the boil right away, or as soon as we could, on what's been a very busy program right now via Vikings talking points. I'm very curious to hear the PA and Bursich call of the 4th and 1 fateful and ultimately calamitous moment yesterday afternoon in Seattle.
It's 4th and 1. Snap. Brosmer rolls out to the right. He's in trouble. He's going to throw the ball up, and it's picked off. Awful decision by Max Brosmer, and this is going to be a defensive touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. It's Ernest Jones, the 4th, with the first touchdown of his career, and Seattle has taken a 9-0 lead. Max Brosmer, falling to the field, decided to underhand it to absolutely nobody except Ernest Jones, and he's going to go the distance for the first touchdown of the game. Seattle has taken a 9-0 lead. It'll be a pick six of right around 85 yards.
It's frustrating.
It was apparently so frustrating that the Vox, very shortly afterwards, tweeted out,
unbelievable,
for him, rather unusual negativity.
Yes.
About the call, the decision on the 4th and 1. And look, I'll say again, his accuracy, Brosmer's accuracy, was so off that I'm not sitting here suggesting that a better decision there might have turned into a Vikings victory. But I am here to tell you again, over and over, that, I mean, you can even make the argument that if you're going to run that play at all on 4th and 1, you run it with J.J. McCarthy, not Max Brosmer, because Max Brosmer does not move all of that well. Now, again, maybe if it's blocked better, maybe if he takes a little different angle, who's to say? But it was...
Maybe if the Vikings actually ran the ball on 4th and 1 historically, they would actually buy the play fake and give him a little bit of time, but go ahead.
There's no reason to, obviously, to buy the play fake. All the numbers have been in on just how inept our passing, our conversion rate is on, what is it, on 3rd and 3 and shorter, or 4th and 3 and shorter. It's abysmal. It's historically bad. And then that's where you're back to, well, how many, that's why I still don't believe KOC, because he's acting like this is the first time. You're back to, just because that's the play call that you had set up for that situation on your sheet based on the defense that's in front of you, that you're then obligated to follow through with it, as opposed to, well, who's my quarterback? What's the circumstance? What's the vibe in the game here? Maybe, and by the way, he could have been stopped on a running play on 4th and 1. It would have, it's been known to happen from time to time. Where were they at? The 5? The 10? They were inside the 10, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't remember
Wherever
exactly.
They were,
yeah.
You obviously don't want to leave points on the table. You don't want to turn the ball over with no points on 4th and 1 and not getting the first down on a run. But at least they're starting from inside the 10, and your defense has played well. I mean, example of what I was talking about, how success tends to disguise or mask weakness, whether it comes to bad drafts. Vikings drafts were just as bad last year, but nobody cared because they had a 14-3 season. Or the problem had already reared its head, I guess more generally would be the best way to put it. So the circumstance is what ends up, I guess, the best way to put it is how much you emphasize a given weakness is completely based on how much success you've had. And the Vikings have had almost no success with any number of quarterbacks this year trying to be, creative and throwing on a down where if you have a real offense and you have a real functioning quarterback, you say, well, that's the play call. It made sense to follow through with that play call. Unfortunately, that's not real world in 2025. And yet the head coach, again, I'm not going to hold him responsible for ultimately the underhand toss, which was the worst sign of desperation in any quarterback in that situation. It's a play, obviously, you cannot even ever consider making. But human nature being what it is, you're feeling the heat, literally and figuratively. You're trying to make a play, and I don't know what I assume addressed it. I have no idea what he was thinking, what Max was thinking.
It was
on that
stunning,
play, but it honestly was one of those plays where you want to look away. You go, I
think I did.
Almost like, no, oh my, was that really where we're at? Are we really there? Because at that point, what was the score?
It was 3-0, wasn't it?
Was it 3-0?
Hang on,
It was close, I know that. It was the game at that point was not out of control.
It was 3-0, and it was 4th and 1 at Seattle's 4. That touchdown made it 10-0. Yeah. And the Vikings had just gotten the strip sack, right? They sacked Arnold and got the fumble. So you're in a good spot. Even though the offense didn't do anything for the entire first quarter, the defense kept you in it. They gave you the turnover. They gave you the short field.
Yes. What I was trying to get to, and then I had one of those, who's the analyst on NBC Sunday night who's getting ripped because he lost his train of thought, Rodney Harrison.
Oh.
It's odd, though. People are, I guess, somehow projecting that must mean he had a bunch of concussions and he's losing his mind now. It's like, well, could he have just lost his train of thought?
It happens.
Yeah, I do it every day. And it does happen from time to time. It's really not I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. If KOC's record in one-score games was average, we'd probably be 500 or worse with him. Yeah, I mean, but that cuts both ways. You can say, is there a skill to being able to run, to win one-score games? Yeah, I think it can be a sign of knowing how to run a game.
And I think he does.
Right. But the other thing that gets lost that would have been bigger if somehow the Vikings would have been more competitive and stolen the game is Sam Darnold did not look that good yesterday.
No, he didn't. Vikings did well.
I'm not saying he didn't look as bad as Brosmer, but he did not look sure of himself. He did not look confident. That offense ultimately got a touchdown late when it really didn't matter at that point. But their major, whatever success they had offensively tended to be running the ball or just going far enough to set up another 55-yard field goal. So, again, in better circumstances, for the people who have said, well, they blew it not keeping Sam Darnold, the ammo yesterday would have been the opposite. Would have been, well, no, what we saw yesterday was maybe he's starting to come back to the pack a little bit. Now, he's allowed to not have a great game every week. Overall, I believe he's top 10 in QBR in the National Football League, and so you have to give him a little bit of slack for that. But it wasn't a game at all where the Seattle offense looked like it was beyond the control of the Minnesota defense, correct?
No, the defense handled it. Daniel Jones, by the way, is coming back to the pack as well.
He is.
They've lost a couple in a row, and now people are thinking the Colts are in free fall.
Yes.
Do you think part of Darnold's confusion was that he wasn't aware of who Dallas Turner was? Because that version of Dallas Turner has not existed, didn't exist. He had a great game yesterday.
Yes, he did.
That's cheap shot number one. The PA tweet, I was at Gray's Food Hall for one of our appearances, doing the watch party.
How does that go? How does the watch party go when it's that kind of ball game? I mean, do you do Gallows? I mean, Are you doing one-liner Gallows humor kind of a thing? Do people accept that, or do they get grumpy about it? They don't want to hear any snark if they show up for an event like that, even if the product is as wretched as it was.
It's not fun. Thankfully, the food's good, and everybody there is drinking. I'm not. And I was talking with the staff there yesterday. I've had like 4 Death March watch parties at Gray's. Like the combined. The first game was the first game, the Monday night game, where it was terrible until the fourth quarter, and then it was fun because the people that were still there at 10:30 on a Monday night, were having a great time, and McCarthy played well, so that was cool. But Daryl Thompson came and watched with me yesterday. My buddy from the Gopher Radio Network, former Gopher, former Packer, and Charlie Swanson, Lexus of Wyzetta, they were all there. So we were just hanging out. It was fun, and a bunch of Gopher Rubes were there. It was cool. But I showed the PA tweet to both of them and said, do you guys understand how bad it has to be that mid-game, mid-quarter, Paul Allen has to go to Twitter to tweet out about how bad a play call is?
Yes.
And can we read it for the audience?
Yeah, I
pulled it up.
Did you pull it up? Go ahead. Yeah, I was pulling up an Alec Lewis one, but go ahead.
I mean, what the bleep with that fourth down by the Vikings? Seriously, Brosmer foolishly throws an 84-yard pick six, but with respect, just shocked the way that play developed on 4th and short. Sorry to second guess, but this is the guy's first NFL start. Wow. # still skull.
I was stunned by it.
Do you realize? It's what I said. I go, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. That's how bad that situation was.
Here's the stat that a lot of people have used. I saw it via Alec Lewis regarding converting on a 3rd and 3 or fewer.
Yeah, this is not good.
Astonishing, but again, not so surprising when you dovetail it with and mesh it with every other stat and analytic that just continues to confirm that what we are seeing via the eye test, it's as bad as the eye test would indicate and maybe worse. The Vikings have converted on 3rd and 3 or fewer. In other words, they have been able to get a first down 36.1% of the time. That's the 3rd lowest percentage of any team in 25 years in the National Football League. League average over the 25-year span, I should say, is around 60%.
It's a little frustrating.
That's the more damning part right there.
The other stat is, and I've seen this floating around too, is our breakdown on how often on 3rd and 3 or shorter we even try to run the ball compared to when we try to throw the ball. I don't think there's another team that's close to us in that regard. And look, I'll admit that it's probably too easy to make it seem like everything's great with the Chicago Bears, like they're never going to lose another game, right? They're emerging as the flavor of the month. They're a good story. They're having a good season to this point. They went to Philadelphia when everybody said they're about to be exposed on Black Friday, and they took care of the Eagles rather handily, and rushed for close to 300 yards. They're built differently. I get that. They don't have an established wide receiver superstar in Justin Jefferson. I understand that part of it. But I'm just here to tell you, Ben Johnson is not only not afraid to run on 2nd and 10, he welcomes the opportunity to run on 2nd and 10. And we talked about this last week. I don't think most of the time he thinks he's going to get to 10. But I think he thinks he's got a good chance to get 6.
Yeah.
Or 5. And he goes, okay.
Sure.
Now we're 3rd down, and I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve on 3rd and 5. Running and throwing the ball. I said this on sermons yesterday before any of this nonsense took place. Ben Johnson runs because he relishes it. KOC, when he bothers to run, does it just because he thinks he has to. It's a big difference. In the Ben Johnson world of offense, it's cool to run. And again, they still have some limitations, both off passing game, and occasionally even the run game fails them a little bit. And it's still a passing league. I understand that as well. But it speaks to, and maybe this has got to be part of the makeover again. Maybe we still don't have the right, even with the changes we made on the offensive line, maybe it's still not the right kind of offensive line. I heard Bursich talk about this. Are we a road grading offensive line? Maybe we're still not. But if the answer is we're not, then we got to do something about it. I honestly believe this, even if we still want to make our bread and butter throwing the football. I'm running late, so let's get a pause in. We'll get to another Vikings talking point. We'll prepare for Ben Lieber. He will join us as well at 4:47. Vikings talking points to get to, but an interesting text just came in via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line from Mike in, looks like New Richmond. Dan, I know you've been kind of a JJ skeptic, and this season has proven he has a lot to work on, which he has a right to do as a very young player. That said, and with what we saw from Max as additional evidence, at what point are you willing to say it might be KO failing the young quarterbacks more than the young quarterbacks failing KO? Well, I mean, in fairness, I'm not going to go that far about failing, but I am going to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, if we're going to praise KOC every time things go well, as it certainly did with Sam Darnold.
Yep, and Cousins the first year.
And Cousins, you're right. Then you have to have some responsibility for this, and this is obviously a different circumstance because these are quarterbacks who aren't reclamation projects. These are quarterbacks who've never really made a name for themselves at this level. Here's where it gets funky to me, in all seriousness. As much as I hate the national speculation we talked about earlier, the clock started today on are the Vikings going to have to trade? When is Justin Jefferson going to demand a trade?
Do you know who stoked some of those flames?
Who?
Randy Moss. On Countdown yesterday.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Greeny started the whole conversation by playing it because they were saying, at what point does JJ get frustrated? And Moss basically said, I'd have asked out.
Yeah, well,
which we know.
He'd asked out after 1 week.
Yeah, it shouldn't surprise anybody.
True. But what I more honestly do wonder is if you're Justin Jefferson, how do you not start considering it? Because let's say you believe what you've said publicly, that J.J. McCarthy still has a chance, that you believe in him and he's got to be patient and he's going to get better. But on the basis of what we've seen, there's no guarantee, I don't think, that he breaks through next season.
No.
But realistically, at least as of right now, you're going to play him according to the current plan. So if you're Justin Jefferson, I think the wheels have to be turning a little bit and going, well, wait a minute. So I've got to project this out realistically that he's missed a bunch of games already again. He missed the entire rookie season. He's already missed a bunch of games this year. He might get hurt again. Who knows? And by the way, somebody earlier is mad at you, and I guess me, by extension, about the cheap shots about injuries. You'd mentioned we might get another injury. Well, here's the truth of it. Our 447 guest, when we talked to him last week, Ben Lieber was muttering about injury. I don't think it's meant as he's defective in that regard, but this is a league in which, any of these leagues, in which you're going to be evaluated in part on the ability to stay on the field.
That's what they all say.
It's just a fact. It doesn't mean the player has to be soft, but it's a factor. It definitely is. But I really think if you're Justin Jefferson, that JJ, you're going, well, I mean, do I have that much time to wait?
He's 26 years old. He'll be 27 before next season.
So I got to wait till I'm 28 before I can go, okay, now he's ready to maybe make a big-time playoff run. Now, again, maybe the light bulb goes off even the rest of this season, and he's in a lot better place, and then it's easier to project next year. But here's where, again, and I guess this all depends on the degree to which the Vikings value Justin Jefferson. To get the most out of what he represents, to not, I guess, have to sort of regret the possibility that you're wasting 2 more of his prime years? Aren't you back to doing what you haven't wanted to do? Going out and getting a veteran quarterback?
Which is what they were talking about today on ESPN.
Exactly.
Who are there going to be?
You're
the
back
names.
to Mac Jones. That name's going to come up because he's at least a competent professional.
Yep.
Maybe, again, he too has figured something out.
Daniel Jones will be available.
And Daniel Jones.
As a free agent.
And I even understand why some people might roll their eyes and they say, well, here we are. Where we go again. We're back to exactly where we were, which means that might be a year experiment or a 2-year experiment, and then we're looking again, and then what? Are we ever just going to get the guy? Well, the timing might be off here. If your goal is to just live with the ups and downs of the young quarterback, if he is as ill-prepared right now as J.J. McCarthy seems to be, So do you value Justin Jefferson that much? You go, doesn't matter. We're never going to trade him. Are you out of your mind? He's too good a player. But I think you do run that risk of saying, well, we thought we had the franchise quarterback, but what if we don't? And then we're wasting 2 more years or another. This year is already a waste. Mm-hmm. And next year, there's a good chance that's going to be maybe not as bad as this year, but just kind of middle of the road year where McCarthy kind of gets his feet under him. That's where the catch-22 sets in, where you go, we might have to go the other route, even if we, in our hearts, don't believe that the upside of Mac Jones and or Daniel Jones is as great as what we thought we saw on tape and projected J.J. McCarthy to be. You have to rethink all of that. I don't think you have any choice. So
scary. I
hate those formulaic story angles, about, flyover country, talented player, got to get him out of there. Because sometimes it's oversimplified, but I think there's some truth to it now. And frankly, let's be honest, Justin Jefferson's approach after the game doesn't help.
That's what got it all started.
I'm not mad at him,
right?
Because the guy is almost always available, but understandably, you're going, well, okay, well, so where is his head at this point? His head did not look like in a good place. Hell, he wouldn't even sit on the bench for a while. He was sitting on a stool next to the Gatorade. Did you see that?
I sure did.
Looked like he didn't want to be around anybody else. Yep. He was just going to be off by himself. So all those things have to make. That's part of what makes this thing so complicated moving forward.
I know we have to break again, but the JJ discussion is part of it. But honestly, I think what you talked about with Johnny earlier is an even bigger problem: the lack of formidable draft picks and depth on the team in general.
There's no question.
Right? Like
it catches up with you.
And JJ is obviously a huge part of that, McCarthy. But I'm sure he's looking at all that and going, we went out and spent this money, offensive line, they're not on the field a lot of the time. Even our high draft picks. Jackson was out again yesterday.
Yes.
Darisaw was out again yesterday. Like, the guys that are supposed to be the high-priced ones aren't playing. Like, where is this thing going? It's, of course, a lot about the QB, but all of a sudden it's getting late early on a lot of these guys, it seems like.
Kyle is suggesting that I should not forget about Kyler Murray. I have no interest in Kyler Murray.
Nor do I.
Maybe as Wolves point guard, but not so much as the Vikings starting.
He was a baseball player, too. The Twins could use him.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, remember, that was a big thing. Is he going to play baseball or football?
A lot of people have also are hoping that very soon on a regular basis, Joe Pollett will be on the program on the Bumper to Bumper show.
We take him. We would take him, wouldn't we?
There's no question about that. This Vikings talking point, all of our talking points brought to you by our good friends at Federated Insurance. This one probably will not take very long. This is the Justin Jefferson production. All in their entirety of the Justin Jefferson catches in Seattle yesterday evening or afternoon.
Justin Jefferson, Paul, still without a reception. This is a good time for him right now. Justin never has played a game without a reception in the NFL. Rosemer is 13 of 20 for 92 yards and a pick. Works out of the shotgun. Looks left. Gets away from pressure. Throws left. It's caught by Jefferson behind the line of scrimmage. He's thrown down so violently. Throw that flag! I mean, what are you doing, Nick Emanwari? That's a rookie move by a rookie, and he's going to be penalized for it. Minnesota 2 of 9 on third down. Pass left to Jefferson. Caught at the 45. Dives ahead inside the numbers to the 40-yard line. Gain of 8 on 3rd and 21. So now it's 4th and 13. And here we go. We're going for it. And we're going to go for it. Okay, on 4th and 13.
Tweet that.
So 2 catches, was it 4 yards net?
Yeah, the play where he got thrown down, he lost 4, and then he gained 8 on that last one.
That's hard to even
Should
believe.
He get to 15 yards for the penalty? Because he technically threw that after he got thrown down.
Talk about a dumb play.
Really dumb.
Because it's a terrific play. They had him behind the line of scrimmage, And not that, I mean, look, at the time I'm going, well, maybe this is what lights a fire into the Vikings. I should have known better than that.
There was no fire to be lit.
Move that was going to change everything in that game. But, it didn't go particularly well for JJ, as we said. His numbers have been well chronicled regarding the average number of yards he has had with pretty much several different quarterbacks before McCarthy. With McCarthy, was it 45 yards, 50 yards? And obviously with Brosmer, it was net of 4 yards as well. Was there anything else from I listened to a decent amount of the KOC presser today. Did anything else strike you about it other than he did seem rather forlorn? They did bring up
the tone.
The tone seemed a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Surrender worthy. I mean, he'll never admit to that and would never agree with it, but it just looked like he was more resigned to the Vikings' fate than I've seen before. He did bring up Adam Thielen before he started taking questions from the Jackals.
Yep.
And most of you probably know by now, Thielen has been released by the Vikings. He'd apparently asked to be released a week ago. And he's a regular with us at 3:30. He did not, Guardsy did reach out to him today, but he has not responded. Maybe he does not want to talk at this point. We'd love to have him on at least once more. It's interesting because some of the texts from people are very, very tough on Thielen. And I'm not here to automatically defend him because he's been on our show every week, but I think you're kind of missing the point, at least for me. I look at the Thielen, I always viewed his acquisition as insurance, especially because the Vikings were going to be without Addison was the first 3 weeks.
Yep.
They kind of projected that's what was going to be the case. That's what it turned out to be.
Yep.
And
JJ was hurt during training camp, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You throw those two things in and you assume it's the game of football. Well, we're gonna lose a receiver during the season, too. And it's probably been the healthiest position on the entire team. Now, can you argue, but if you're a wily veteran, you still should find a way to make yourself more vital. And I think he dropped 3 passes. True. The answer to that question is ordinarily yes, but not with the current quarterback situation. This is unprecedented what this Vikings offense is going through in terms of the quarterback position. It really is for this organization for sure, and some others have been through it, but at that point, all bets are off on my ability to evaluate any of the receivers. I know we've dropped some balls. I know we could have helped your guy Brosmer out yesterday, that one over the middle, although I did think he needed to put a little bit more air on it, under it. But, and even with McCarthy, have there been some catches that should have been made? Yes. Does he throw a hard ball? Yeah, I think that's true too. And a lot of the balls aren't even close to the same area code. So I never had the expectations that Adam Thielen, we're going to see Adam Thielen in his prime, catching 6 balls a game or anything like that. So I'm not as down on the acquisition. I went into it with eyes open. Clearly, he's disappointed that it's ending this way. There's no way this was orchestrated the way it was with him thinking, well, I'm going to have to leave again. Okay, and I don't know if he's going to have a landing place, whether he's going to have a chance wherever he goes to actually contribute. But I don't think we can honestly evaluate any of the receivers right now in the Vikings, including the ones in their prime, on the basis of the way this thing has played out at the quarterback position.
You know what else hurt Thielen?
What's that?
Jalen Naylor's had a pretty good year.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no question.
I think developed into a really nice piece. Again, we're not going to get the full experience with him because of how the quarterbacks have played, but when Naylor's playing really well, making tough catches, the dagger catch a couple of weeks ago against Detroit, he's playing well. So that was going to hurt Adam Thielen too.
Well, now I'm logged out again, and so I'm going to have to get the verification code again. It's a good system, isn't it?
Well, you got a break before Lieber.
Yeah, we do. Let's do that, and then we'll get Nacho's second day take on the first day or something like that of what he observed regarding the I guess you could say nightmarish performance in Seattle. Not to be confused with several other nightmarish performances in Seattle for the Vikings over the decades. Lieber and more Vikings talking points. Top 5 at 5 yet to come and much more. Stay tuned.